What's up? Welcome to.
Shut up. All right, Andrew was maybe doing a little mockery of me, which I don't appreciate. I want to first apologize. I haven't been on here too much at all, really, since before the NCAA tournament. Part of that is because that was the worst bracket I've ever filled out in my entire life. I think it was like 12, 13% right. The good news is that I did well in most of my other brackets. It's just for some reason the one that I did for the show was awful. So hopefully you didn't take that into account when you were doing your bracket, like what I advised you to do. Hopefully you didn't listen to me. This episode's gonna be a little bit sad, maybe, and my own personal fandom's probably gonna come out a little bit more because I'm gonna have my brother on the show and we're gonna vent a little bit. The sports have not been too kind to us, and we need a therapy session. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, stick around. I'm also starting weekly recommends for movies and television, so that's going to be at the end of the show. And Andrew is going to explain why he watches 6 hours of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse a day. This is A Few Rows Up.
You can't see my bathroom right now?
I can't. No.
That's great news.
All right. Now joining the show. Welcome back, my brother, Andrew. How you doing, dude?
Good. Thanks for having me, man.
Andrew actually kind of instigated this episode a little bit more than I did. I had reached out and said, dude, like, let's do a pre-NBA playoffs thing, and which we're still going to do that probably next week. But Andrew was like, dude, let's just do one like right now because he actually has stuff to maybe vent about, which is a little bit unique for Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, a while ago, I was a very impatient sports fan, yell at the TV and throw my hat down or whatever. And I remember, like, in high school, I had to send an apology note to Miranda's mom because we watched a BYU game at their house and I misbehaved. But being married to Esmer, she just kind of chilled me out a little bit. And I also just learned a lot about sports. And sports are just meant to entertain. And, like, yeah, it's not going to go our way all the time. But it's still, like, fun, you know? But you know what's not fun? Mariners baseball right now.
Mariners baseball is the least fun sports you could possibly have. This episode, we're going to kind of get a little more into like my personal fandoms. I haven't really done that yet on this show, but the Mariners, like, I was talking with someone recently and they're like, who's like your, top sports team? I think I root for LeBron for like the most of any sports thing that I follow, but team wise, the thing that I'm super invested in and that I've been invested in for a long time is the Seattle Mariners. And most of the time, it's kind of just been, oh, like the Mariners, this is a fun team. You get to go to games, eat some garlic fries. Like, it's just kind of fun. But now that there's expectations, and now that we've been to the postseason, we broke that 2-decade-long curse. We've been there now twice in the last, like, 4 years or something like that. I don't even know. It feels like I feel more irritated now when the Mariners lose, and there's been a lot of that lately.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing we want to vent about. Like, this past weekend, thank goodness for Easter because it was just an awful sports weekend. And I'm usually
Awful.
hey, sports is sports. It's fun. Like, hey, we lost, but it was still a fun game. And I always consider myself like the Coach Hines and Remember the Titans where he's like, oh, no, wait, let's see what happens. Like when they put PD in on defense.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's see what happens. I've always had that attitude. I mean, over the past few years at least. I'm like, let's see what happens. It's fine,
Yeah.
But this weekend, I'm like, this is tough to watch. Like,
Yeah.
it was so sad watching Arizona just get wiped by Michigan. I mean, they ended up winning it all. They looked like unbeatable. They looked incredible. So that happened. And obviously the Lakers injuries, all this stuff happened. It was just a little disheartening.
It was. It was a little disheartening. And, I mean, Mariners have lost 5 in a row. George Kirby does a complete game and they still lose, which is rare in baseball to have your pitcher go the entire game and you still lose the game. Like, they can't score runs, they can't really get hits, they can't really get on base. Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez are batting 143, and Naylor's batting 104. For
And you want to know something funny? All three of those names you mentioned are on my fantasy baseball team.
Can you explain fantasy baseball a little bit to people? Because I know like fantasy football is the most people do, but fantasy baseball is also kind of up there. But I don't really know a ton about it personally.
Honestly, you just have to be with like the right group, and for me, the right group is no one I know personally. And so I got lucky with, because I've done fantasy baseball a couple times with people I know, and like no one really cares about it because you have to like update it every day. But with fantasy freaks like me, like I can update 5 leagues every day if you want me to. But it's like my social media. Like that's what I go check when I'm on John and stuff like that.
Okay.
Everybody
Yeah.
does it. We can talk about that.
No, yeah.
But anyway, so I'm like, hey, fantasy, like sports is my thing. I figured out baseball's fun by having this crew where everybody's into it and everyone puts money into it. So like they have to care about it.
Yeah.
But you have your lineup catcher through outfield, like all the positions. You have to have someone in those slots. You have like a utility slot, which is basically like a wild card, any position, and then you have 8 or so pitchers, and you can have relief pitchers in there, starting pitchers, but starting pitchers are only going to go like once a week, once every 5-6 days. But you get points based on how many innings you're pitching. So the starting pitchers, everyone kind of ends up having the same amount of points per week, depending on how they do, of course. But
It's like a week long matchup,
Yeah.
though, right?
yeah, and like in baseball, they play every day, so it's not like you pretty much need to make substitutions when there's an injury or if someone's taking the day off or something like that. But I like it a lot so far. It's pretty fun. I like
No,
it because
it's
I'm
good.
1-0.
You are
So,
1-0, despite
I-
your Mariners players.
My pitchers have been awesome.
Good.
Because I have Brian Wu, he's great.
Yeah.
And I have I don't know how to say his name, but that Brewers guy, Mizorowski or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's dealing. And I got this Schlittler for the Yankees. He's been going crazy. They're my starting pitchers. And then I have like that Johan Duran from the Phillies who can throw like 104. He's their closer. And I've got a bunch of other closers that are really good. And so my pitching it's like my fantasy team's like the Mariners. Like our pitching's fine, but my bats can't get going.
Yeah.
But
For sure. Hopefully things turn around for the Mariners. It's a very long season, but as they currently sit, they are dead last in the MLB. They have
In
the
what?
worst record in the MLB.
no, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Aren't the Red Sox like 2-8?
I'm pretty sure the Mariners are in last place in the MLB. Let me check this one more time. Hold on.
Because when I checked last night, even the Athletics, we were tied with them. I don't know if the Red Sox won today, but I thought they were 2-8 as of this morning.
Mariners, do you see that?
What's the Red Sox record?
The Red Sox are 4-8, so we just have one more loss than the Red Sox.
Aren't we 4-8?
We're 4-9. We lost today. Again, 5 in a row.
Oh, okay. So the Red Sox must have won 2 in a row or something because
Yeah.
they were 2-8.
Okay.
But like you said, it's a long season. We're just getting started. So we're starting with the Mariners, right? Vent session. We're already
Yeah.
kind of going with
Yeah,
that.
mhm.
But a couple things have made me feel better. One, it's a long season. Two, last year, which was our best year, we started 3-7, which I thought was interesting. And also, this is another little vent thing. I love the WBC, and like you said, it needs to be like marketed better because it is such a fun event. But the timing of it, I feel like needs to change. Like right before the MLB season, you know,
Yeah,
you have to like
it's just
spring training for a lot of these guys, and
Yeah, it's tricky because the MLB takes up so much of the year though. Like I don't know when you'd
that's
put
true.
it, you know? Do you put it like at the like just when the season's completely over?
I mean, the NBA. I mean, obviously the Olympics are a different thing, but the NBA takes up a good chunk of the year too, and it's like right after the NBA finals, and it seems to go fine.
Yeah. See, I look at it as I thought the World Baseball Classic would give these guys an edge to be like, hey, we're
I thought
doing
so too.
we're having competitive matchups before real competition starts. I don't know how much spring training can really do that psychologically for you. But maybe maybe it is important to kind of just work out the muscle a little more than working out the mental before.
Like even just the cages and getting like timing down and all that. Obviously we don't play baseball. We haven't played
Hmm.
since we were afraid of a 60-mile-per-hour fastball. But Cal Raleigh's going to get going. Julio will get going. He's like Cal Raleigh. Striking out isn't his thing, but it has been his thing this year. He's striking out like half the time right now, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see just more people on base, more hitting
Or just
around.
it's the runners in scoring position that
Yeah.
we leave people on.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. Like today, I was watching the. Okay, here's a good thing about the Mariners. This I'm kind of going a couple different directions, but where I was starting today, I was watching the end of the Pirates and Padres game, just because I had Jackson Merrill and O'Neill Cruz on my fantasy team, and they were playing against each other. It was actually kind of fun. I just watched like a couple innings of it, but those innings that I watched, they had runners in scoring position, and they hit them in, and I was like, "This is so refreshing," you know. Um,
Yeah.
but the one thing I did notice, because I've watched a few other uh, televised games from other teams, every single like probably 8 to 10 different broadcasts, just briefly, every single one of them, I just think to myself, I'm so grateful for Aaron Goldsmith and Rick Riz.
Same.
Because I listen to these other guys and I'm like, they are nothing compared to our guys. It's pretty sad, though, that the only thing I can text you positively about the Mariners is, oh, I just love our announcers, you know? But I am really grateful for our announcers. They are money.
Yeah. No, they're great. They keep the game entertaining when it's not entertaining, you know?
We even have an Aussie as like a color commentator. Like,
Yeah.
I love Australian accents and stuff. And
Yeah.
Andy is fantastic. Like Rick Riz on the radio, I was listening to him in my AirPod today, just listening to the Mariners strike out. But his voice made it a lot better.
Yeah. It's great. I'm so happy for you. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like Andrew does not get upset about sports as much. I remember when we were watching the Clippers in the bubble and Andrew was doubled over in front of the TV, like
Crawling around.
crawling around, so mad, had all of his Clippers gear on, and you'd always just say like, "Come on, Clips!" And that was just kind of like the thing. And maybe Paul George hitting the side of the backboard like 4 times in that game just kind of made you realize, hey, not much to do
KO.
about this.
The KO for me.
Yeah, and so
But yes, like I can't control this. It's just fun. But I still feel like I get just as excited as I used to, like at good things, but at bad things I'm like, sports, you know?
yeah, I
Unless
think
the
it's
Big
good.
12 makes a fool of themselves in the March Madness
Oh
tournament.
my gosh, yeah. I mean that because last time I had you on the show, we both said pretty confidently that someone from the Big 12 was going to win the championship.
I don't think I could say it more confidently than I said I 100% guarantee it.
It was so bad. I mean, let's just get into it because they only had one team in the Elite Eight, right? And that was Arizona.
Wait, Iowa State made it
Did they go to the Elite Eight though?
against Tennessee. I thought that was the Elite Eight, wasn't it?
Um,
I'm pretty sure we had two in the Elite Eight.
no. Tennessee beat them in the Sweet 16.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay, let's give the Big 12 a little credit, though. Joshua Jefferson, out All-American for Iowa State, obviously topping with Texas Tech. And they probably would have even been seeded higher if he were healthy. Richie with BYU, talked
Yeah.
about that already.
A lot with BYU, right? Baker,
Yeah,
Richie, Staten, who transferred, and now Rob Wright entered the transfer portal
I
today.
know.
Again, this is kind of a sad session today on the podcast, but it's okay. We also, to share some good news, is Colin Chandler is probably coming back to BYU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean the crystal ball for him on that like 2-7 Sports or whatever, it says 100% BYU. Like his wife, I think, has like a job out here now or something. Like there, this is like speculation. There's all this like he said, she said kind of stuff, but as of right now, it looks like he could come back to BYU. So that's a good thing,
Yeah.
and it's tough to
We just
think
need
of.
depth. We just need depth.
Yeah, we need people that can come in and like hit some threes, play some good defense. Kennard Davis also entered the transfer portal, which
I don't care at all about that.
I'm totally fine with. But yeah, BYU lost in the first round. 8 teams get selected for the tournament for the Big 12, which is actually a record for the Big 12 with how many teams got into the tournament. So you'd think you'd have more teams advancing farther, but
Again, but it's easier to advance when you have your best or second best guys out there on the floor.
yeah, the kind of golden children of the Big 12 got beat pretty bad by the Big 10 and SEC. Iowa State and Texas Tech both lost to SEC teams, Tennessee and Alabama. And then obviously BYU got upset by Texas. Houston and Arizona both lost to Big 10 schools. They lost to Illinois and Michigan.
Hey, I was right about Illinois, though. You
You
can
were?
roll that clip. I said, hey, watch out for Illinois.
Yeah. But Andrew, what were your just general thoughts about the tournament this year? Did you have fun watching it?
I love those first 4 days.
I don't know. I felt like there weren't a ton of like upsets, which I don't need upsets. But as I was talking to Jared about, and hopefully no one listened to that episode because that was the single worst bracket I've ever filled out. Like I think Iowa was like the lowest seed to maybe go to the Sweet 16 or whatever. But like I said, I don't really care about.
I had Iowa beating Florida in my work one, by the way. I was pretty happy about that.
Hey, nice. But I don't need upsets. Like I really don't need upsets. I actually was happy with like the Sweet 16 and with the Elite 8 and with the Final Four because it's like the best teams playing each other. But the problem was, from the Elite 8 on, there were like no good games. There was like maybe one or two, but like it just felt like most of these games were blowouts, which surprised me because I'm like, these are supposed to be the best teams, and all these teams have been blowing everybody else out. So you'd think that, if you put all the best teams against each other, that they would be really good games. But it's like they're not. These teams aren't used to getting behind, and so once they get behind, then they don't know how to recover from that because they're just used to blowing people out. But yeah, I didn't feel too excited during the tournament this year, and maybe that's just because my bracket sucked. But I just felt like eventually I was just rooting for Arizona, and then Arizona gets killed too. So I don't know. It was kind of a bummer, but
It was fun to see how good Michigan was, though. And I hate praising the Big Ten, but like they killed it this year in the tournament. And that we talked about this over the phone. It's hard to determine how these teams are going to match up when they don't play each other in the regular season. They just play against their conference, and obviously they have to. But that's what makes March Madness fun, though, is these teams don't play each other often or ever, and here they are playing against each other, and we don't know how they're going to match up, and one team upsets, and that's why there's 9 quintillion different possibilities of a bracket.
yeah. I saw that there was a perfect bracket this year, but it was AI generated. Like AI
Oh,
made every bracket possible. So I'm like, that doesn't count.
that
That does
doesn't
not
count.
count.
No, no.
But
You
um,
scared me for a second because I was like, that's literally impossible. It's like I looked it up. It's a 1 in 4 point something, 4.2 or something billion odds of even getting the first round right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic. But I just didn't really feel it this year with college basketball. Maybe the NBA playoffs could be a little better, but I was getting really excited for the Lakers again. Another one of the teams that I follow currently.
They killed it in March. I was getting pumped.
They were on a heater. They won. They were 15-2 in March, and then Luca loses his hamstring.
And
Austin,
they should have pulled them. They were down by
I
30
know.
the whole game.
Yeah. Austin Reeves had an oblique injury. Both are grade 2 injuries, which I guess tend to require like 5 weeks of recovery, and the playoffs starts like next week. But apparently Luca's getting some European treatment that's like, never been done before, and he can maybe get back sooner than later, hopefully. But it was just such a bummer, not only for the Lakers, but for Luka. He was having such a great season, 33, 7, and 8. He also was averaging 2 steals a game, which,
That's not Luca.
you could tell earlier on in the year and towards like the winter months, he was kind of just more reliant on foul baiting and complaining to the refs. Obviously, he still complains to the refs, which is not fun to watch as a sports fan. And but he had that step back going. He was just locked in, seemed so in flow of the game, and so it's such a bummer. Hopefully he can come back. Hopefully 41-year-old LeBron can turn into 2018 LeBron for a little bit. And I don't know if they get matched up with the Rockets or the Timberwolves, but I guess we'll
Lakers in
just
five.
see.
Lakers in five.
Lakers in 5. Yeah. Jake LaRavia is going to have an all-time series.
No, but his Euro treatment, Luca's Euro treatment, is probably just less salt on food. How they do things over there.
Yeah. But so again, that's another bummer. Just some bummer things happening. It's kind of, funny because I haven't done a show for a couple weeks, and now I'm like, oh, well, maybe this is why. Just in the back of my head, it's like, well, I'm just not super excited about what I'm watching right now. But again, this is sports. Sports is give and take. You have months like March for the Lakers where you're 15-2, and then you have, months like March for the Mariners where you can't hit the ball. So, but Andrew knows me. I can get pretty overreactant to sports. I always say best and worst. I always say this is the best thing I've ever seen, and then I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And there's not a lot of in between. Would you say that's correct, Andrew?
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And to be fair, these are also all over text. And Andrew has been better at responding to these because he just doesn't. And so then that helps me because I don't text him as much. Dad was always kind of my BYU, throwing out phrases guy because he got just as mad as I did. But it's fun. Sports are great,
You know what I get mad in? Pickup basketball or church ball. I get
But
mad in.
you always would play better when you were mad.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I
I,
get mad.
yeah, you'd always
Like
tell me like, "Get me mad." I'm like, "All right, well, stop doing a freaking fadeaway. You're 6 inches taller than everybody, so just be strong." And you're like, "I'm not doing the fadeaway," and then you just use your shoulder, and I'm like, "Cool, he's got 2 points." It was great.
It worked.
It worked.
No, but one of the things that drives me crazy right now, this is a little sidetrack moment, but I hate when offense calls fouls.
Okay, you're saying like in pickup basketball.
Yeah. Because you don't have a ref. You're not going to be like, hey, we're going to meet at the church at 5 a.m. to play 5-on-5. Like, can you come ref for us this morning? Obviously, in pickup, there's still fouls, and like those need to be called. But I've always just enjoyed so much more defense calls fouls. Like, if you foul someone, you just say, hey, I got him. Like, stays. But this morning, I played, and there was this dude, and every layup, he'd be like, oh, he got me. And I wasn't the one guarding him. But and he was on my team. He was on my team. And I'm like, bro, stop calling fouls. Like, the other team didn't foul you, bro. Like, I'm like vouching for the other team.
Yeah. Can
And
you
I don't
can
know.
you imagine Luca with offense calls fouls?
Oh, that's the thing with offense calls fouls. You can basically take over a game. Like that happened. Like actually, this was the group that I play with. It's not like a church thing, but I did play with this ward. This ward does like a Wednesday night group here in St. George, and I played with them. I haven't played with them in 6 months or so. They're great, but I just they play at night. I'm more of a morning person when it comes to athletic endeavors. This group I went to for a little while at night, I had to send an apology to the ward mission leader for getting super mad at him for calling too many fouls on offense.
Mm.
I just kept doing like, bro, you're so soft. I kept saying that to him, like, don't just call the ward mission leader soft over and over again. I felt really bad about it.
Oh no.
One of the reasons I said that is because we're going to 21, and he's like taking it to the rim, which I'm like, great, and I'm guarding him, and I do not foul him, and it's like game point, pretty much. I think it was game point, and he's like, oh, he got me. I'm like, dude, you can just give yourself another chance at game point.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, I mean, obviously defense can just not call it, but maybe I think everyone has the same integrity as I do because I call it when I foul somebody. But then I also, maybe you could roll this clip from Longest Yard. I've always just like, I'm not a big Adam Sandler movie guy. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. So sorry, chat. But
It's great.
I'm not an Adam Sandler movie guy, but I love just the scene in Longest Yard. I like Longest Yard. It's a pretty good movie. Where when he's playing like pickup against those like Michael Irvin and all them, maybe it was just 1-on-1 against Mike. I can't remember, but where he would just drill him and like throw him into the pole and like just like Adam Sandler's like bleeding and he'd be like, "Did I foul you?" And he'd be like, "No foul," but he's still like he just toughed it out. I'm like every time someone fouls me, I'm just like, "Thank Adam Sandler." It's the only time I ever think Adam Sandler, but I'm like, "Thank Adam Sandler. He didn't foul you. Just tough it out."
Well, at least you're getting some exercise.
Yeah, that's the only reason I do it. I'm smoking layups left and right. So
Especially left though.
yeah, I don't think I've shot a left-handed layup in like 9 years.
I've never seen a more uncoordinated athlete than Andrew doing anything with his left hand.
But my right hand's lethal though.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like Andrew, pretty athletic dude, very athletic dude, uh, but you can't do anything left-handed. It looks really, really awkward. But yeah, Andrew, did you get that out of your system? Do you feel better? Do you feel like you can
Yeah,
go to
defense
this?
calls fouls. Everybody, defense calls fouls. That's all I
Okay,
need people to
okay.
know.
And do you tell these people before the game starts that we're gonna do defense calls fouls?
No, because I'm not running the show with this group. And I just feel like it should just be a universal thing. And if I were running the show, I'd be like, hey, defense calls fouls before every, check ball. I love this guy that runs these groups. He's the most, I was telling him this morning, he's this super, like, fun dude and, like, hype and just makes 5 a.m. basketball super fun. Like, he's got, like, music going. I'm like, dude, you're the most disciplined, consistent person I've ever met. I told him that this morning.
Hmm.
And he's like, well, I'm up at 3:30 and I'm just, just getting my day started and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I just like to get people out here playing and stuff. I'm like, dude, I respect you. Thanks for runs, man.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
Swaps. That's his name.
say again?
Swaps. It's like Swape. He's this Tongan dude, but everyone's called him Swaps.
Cool. Shout out to Swaps. Yeah, so this has sort of just been obviously a vent sesh. We vented about the Mariners. I don't know how many of you listening or watching are Mariners fans. Probably not a lot of you because who would, choose to be a Mariners fan? But we have been gifted that task of being Mariners fans, and it's it has its ups and downs. Lately, it's had a lot of downs. Maybe it'll come back up, but
I
it was
think it
good.
will. I think it will.
I think it will too. But yeah, so Mariners, Lakers, Big 12, BYU, just not a lot, to be super thrilled about. But
Easter was great.
Easter is great. What's also great is movies. Andrew, listen to this little stat because I want to, I've spent a lot of time talking about sports, and I think the reason why I haven't gone on and done this for a while is because I don't want to talk about sports right now. But I said, at the beginning when I first started doing this, like I want this to be um, just about like entertainment too. Like I want to talk about movies, shows, like things that are fun too, that maybe leave you feeling better than watching BYU basketball or the Seattle Mariners. And an interesting thing, because you know a lot of people say like Hollywood sucks, the industry's bad. I've said that it's been rocky, but the U.S. box office reached $1.77 billion, which is the most in the first quarter of a year since pre-pandemic. Uh,
Um,
and they're also doing that with mostly original movies too. To headline that is Project Hail Mary, which was great. You saw that, yeah?
oh, I loved Project Hail Mary.
I think a lot of people do.
It kind of taught the lesson of pretty much the opposite of what we've been doing today. Just be positive. I just liked it. It was a happy movie, and it was like a feel good, and it was entertaining, like from minute 1 to minute 300. I don't know how many minutes it was, but
Which Mariners player would you trust most to take a rocket ship to space to save the universe?
Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, he's the only one batting like over 200 or over 250
No,
on the team.
he's seventh in the
I
MLB.
know. I know. Yeah, he's batting like 330 something, but I'm saying he's the only one on the Mariners that's batting
Oh
like
yeah,
250 in general. Like,
yeah,
but yes, right now it's hard not to say Donovan for that, but you probably got to go with like a pitcher. Like, there's a lot
yeah.
of like our pitching's fine, but sorry, I can't stop thinking about the Mariners.
But
I gotta
Project Hail
stop.
Mary, I usually you see a movie before I do, and
Hmm.
this was the first time where I saw a movie before you because I had to take advantage of a free babysitting situation. But I remember the next morning I'm like, I need to talk to Preston about this because I loved this movie,
Hmm.
and I couldn't because I couldn't spoil anything for the dude. And then after a few days, I forgot how much I loved the movie just because I forgot the movie. But if I watched it again, I'd be like, oh, I love this movie.
Yeah.
But I just remember like how good I felt after that movie. I'm like, this is great. I feel like a lot of movies have been like, oh, like let's normalize not happy endings. Let's normalize like things that just go wrong the whole time, and and have some like deep meaning to it, which is great. Like there's art to that too, and I recognize that art with the increase in those type of movies. But I feel like it's been a while since we've just had a feel good at the same time very well made movie.
Yeah. Did you know that scene where Ryan Gosling's like out on the ship and he sees the big planet and then you see a bunch of red glowing lights? That scene was all practical.
I
Like
don't know what that.
sorry, there's no CGI in that scene.
Oh
So
wow.
they used like all these little LED lights and they used different camera tricks and all that stuff. So it's cool because to your point, you're saying this is a fun movie that's also made well and it's made with intention and there's, they don't cut corners. Rocky was like pretty practical as well, cool design. It didn't look like they were just trying to make a movie that people are going to pay money to go see. It looked like they were very invested in their process.
And even the storytelling was just entertaining. Like I said, from the beginning to the end, like it was a 2.5 hour movie or so.
Hmm.
It did not feel like that at all.
Yeah, and you're the most sensitive guy to that. Like you sometimes watch a
Oh,
movie like a show. You sometimes
you're right.
are like I'm going to watch 30 minutes now and then 30 minutes later it takes you 4 days to watch Killers of the Flower Moon or something like that,
That literally happened. But a lot of this is like time constraint as like a parent and stuff. But like at the movie theater, you can just block out time a lot easier. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but you're right though, but like again, the Killers of the Flower Moon, it was like more intense and heavy.
Hmm.
Um, and I just like the feel good stuff. That's why I watch like 6 hours of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse a day. It
Oh,
just feel good, But it's not well
with or without Selena?
both. No, no. But the thing is, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, of course, it's feel good. It'd be crazy if it wasn't. Um, but it's it's just not well made.
Donald's going through some stuff.
But it's just, there's a lot of holes in their plots, and it's just obviously it's not all, what's the word you use, practical. It's not practical.
You're saying, are you saying Mickey Mouse Clubhouse wasn't done practically?
It was not.
Dude, why are you watching that? Well, I have wanted to do weekly recommends on this show. So for this first time doing that, I'm going to say Project Hail Mary is the weekly recommend. Go see it. I know a lot of people have already seen it. It's great. It's a really great movie, really good time. Like Andrew said, it does not feel like 2.5 hours. It feels suspenseful, but also, it's Ryan Gosling, so it's going to be funny and lighthearted, and but not like too lighthearted. Like you still feel the weight of his task. Like you still feel like he's got to do all the stuff. But yeah, great movie. Do you want to do a quick Masters prediction before we get out of here? And for those who don't know what the Masters are maybe biggest golf tournament of the year. It's down in Georgia, and the winner gets a green jacket, and that's incredible in that sport. So, Andrew, Masters prediction, go.
Victor Hovland, man. / Jordan Gillespie.
We just think that Victor Hovland looks like a friend that we grew up with, but whose name is Jordan Gillespie. So hopefully Jordan Gillespie takes it home.
Let's go, Vic. Come on.
Yep. All right. Well, Andrew, I appreciate you getting on. This is a much more casual, ranting, venting, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse type episode, but I appreciate you hopping on. It's been fun.
Yep. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.